Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissick.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm actually in Ashland, Kentucky today. I've been making my world travel. I stopped at our office in Mount Sterling, then came to Ashland, teach a little mid-year business review class, and just making my rounds.
Awesome. How fun. I bet Kentucky's, well, you're probably hot. Are you hot there?
Yeah, but it feels good. It's not humid or anything. It's nice here.
That's awesome. Well, I'm super excited because our guest today is Sarita Dua, which has become a very close friend of mine. And which kind of reminds me of something I realized when we were going to have Sarita on here is how important it is to build relationships with common interest and common struggles and all those kind of things. So Sarita, I'm going to let you take over. First of all, welcome. We're happy to have you here.
Thanks so much for having me. It's an honor.
And so I think you and I met maybe years ago in Gary's Top 200 Mastermind, or at least it's the first I remember. My memory's not always that reliable, so it could have been another time. But when we were in the top 200 and you were telling your story about your wedding, and I kind of just fell in love with you right then and right there and didn't know you that well. So
yeah, I remember meeting you too. We were back then we used to have like 3 days of masterminds and we could pick Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And you, me, and a few others always did Friday. It was always a smaller group. And I remember being in awe because you guys are like heavy hitters, right? And I was so excited to be in that room. And I knew of you, but you're right. We connected. I think it might have been a Keller Williams Red Day event. It was actually a Red Talks. And I remember telling the story of my big fat Indian wedding with 500 people. And we were just fast friends after that. And even since then, I feel like being really focused on health and other things, we've just found different ways to connect. And now I view you as one of my closest friends. So thank you for having me.
Well, we're happy to have you. And, you have a very interesting story. So how did you even wind up in real estate? Because you have quite a background before real estate. And then I'm so proud of you. I call you my MIT friend. I don't have any others that have been that smart.
I almost wore my MIT shirt, but I didn't want to be obnoxious about it. But yeah,
you should wear it all the time.
I did learn those letters, I really did. So my story is actually, probably similar to many people, right? I actually have, well, maybe this part is not similar for real estate. I have an undergrad in engineering, electrical engineering, and I got an MBA, and I was loving life in high tech. I spent 14 years in tech, in sales, marketing, product management, business development. I loved it. I love the people. I love the energy. I love how fast paced it is. I was a bit of a workaholic. I probably still am a bit. And it was just a really great career. I didn't necessarily look to leave it. I just had little kids that were 2 and 4 and a husband who traveled just as much as I did. And we live in Portland, Oregon, without a lot of family support here. Both of our families are not in Oregon or anywhere close. And so when we both had like a trip at the same time, we would literally play rock, paper, scissors on like who would have to reschedule the trip. And, this isn't me trying to be like unhumble, but I am one of those people that would do anything for anyone, even if I have a hint that they need help. But I had a hard time asking for help, which is rough when you're alone with 2 and a 4-year-old and, maybe a neighbor or a friend could help, but like you just don't want to ask, which is ridiculous. I'm way better at that now. So I just kind of looked at what could I do for myself that would, be entrepreneurial. I had done my MBA actually in entrepreneurial management. This was not MIT. This was just way back when. And so I looked at things like real estate, mortgages, insurance, financial planning, something in the service industry where I could spend time and talent, but not money. You don't have to go on Shark Tank and get a bunch of money from Mark Cuban to like launch a product. It was just service and time and kind of my grit and energy. And I chose real estate. And interestingly, I didn't love houses. I do now, but at the time I didn't know much about them. But I felt like real estate was really people and project management. And when I look back at my career, that's really all it was people and project management. And I actually missed the people part because in tech, I felt like sometimes I was pushing product or solutions where now I'm part of people's lives. I literally delivered keys yesterday and my buyer had tears in her eyes, which then I had tears in my eyes, and I never had those kind of moments in tech. So I will say I was pretty deliberate about it. I wrote a business plan before I started, and I interviewed brokerages as an agent going, why should I choose you? As opposed to most people like, why would you choose me? And I ended up at a boutique firm, which was great. And then at Keller Williams, I think I joined in 2010. And really haven't looked back since. It's just been a great ride for me. As Linda alluded, just recently, just the last couple of years, I ended up getting a second MBA because one, I guess, isn't enough. Honestly, I'm a learning-based individual. I really love learning. I believe the minute you stop learning, you start dying. And if you're the PhD of something, you're a kindergartner of the next thing. And so there was things I was learning thanks to Gary about AI and platform strategy and machine learning. And I'm like, I don't know what the heck these things are. And it made me want to read more and learn more. So I went to MIT for an executive MBA. I joined in 2018. It was a 20-month program where I was flying to Boston every other week. Wow. And I just graduated. The last 3 months due to the pandemic were virtual, and I graduated May 2020 with an MBA. I didn't do it to be like, oh, what's next in real estate? I just did it really to grow and learn. The truth is, though, when you want to grow and learn and you think you're not going to change, that's a fallacy. You're going to just change by like 3 months in, I was a different person. You can't unsee stuff. Once you think big, you can't think small. So not to mention the people I met and like the experiences I had. You just start looking at things differently because you have a different vantage point. So I'm really grateful for that opportunity.
I'm dying to,
What I love about that, Dana, is, when we first started this podcast, you and I had technical difficulties, and I love that the MIT graduate, she said, let's Google it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. And something you didn't mention, but you kept your real estate business going during all that time. And you don't just sell a few houses. And I think I've heard you say that you made such great connections. That's even helped you in your real estate business.
Yeah, no, that's true. So honestly, I've always been, many people here know Tony DeCello. He was my coach for several years, and I'm so grateful for him. And Tony challenged me. This was really a defining moment for me, for my career. Tony challenged me to set big goals, right? And a lot of people in real estate set their goals on how many houses did I sell? How many houses am I going to sell next year? I want to sell more next year than this year. And Tony figured me out. That's his superpower. He figured me out pretty quickly. And my goal ended up being, how do I sell about the same and take more and more time out of my business? Because I'm a big junkie for travel. I love, as I mentioned, education, and I'm really close. My family is like the number one thing in my life. So family and education, if you combine those two things, it equals travel for me. That was a way for me to be with my family and learn about the world and learn about other cultures. And so what we did every year is, instead of setting a production goal or a number of houses goal, and by the way, nothing wrong with that. For everybody who does that, that's a beautiful thing. For me, it was, how many days am I going to take out of the business? And I'm answering your question in a long-winded way, Linda, because the truth is, I was jealous of my husband. My husband works a corporate job at an amazing company. He works for Nike. And guess what? Besides vacation, if I forget about vacation, as a normal human being, he gets 104 days off a year. It's called a weekend, 2 days every week, called Saturday and Sunday. And I used to get mad because I'm like, I don't have 104 days that I take outside my business. Why can't I sure, I can design it, but maybe I'm going to take Wednesday and Thursday as my weekend. And now somebody wants to write an offer on a Wednesday. I'm going to do it. Right. So it became very simple. How do I take 100 days out of my business? Then how do I take 120? Then how do I take 150? So this was a big thing for me. And it was kind of gamification, and I loved it. But to your point, when I went to MIT, it was actually brilliant for me, because I used to travel and be out of my business, but sort of pseudo, like my clients would sort of think I was there. And then the nice thing about not only MIT, but this sort of virtual Zoom thing that we've all learned since 2019, since early 2020, due to this unprecedented time in our world, I was able to just be like, I'm out, and I'm happy to do that consult with you. I could do 8 o'clock today or tomorrow at 9, as opposed to, do you want to wait two Thursdays from now? We can meet in my office, or do you want to just meet now? I feel like I've really integrated my work and life more, and I'm much more transparent about it, and people get it now, right? It's just like, yeah, I'll even say I'm having dinner, but why don't we just you want to chat at 8 o'clock for 20 minutes? And we'll just do it. And my life is just very open, as opposed to before. I feel like I was always like trying really hard to be present. And now it's just really amazing. So yes, I was able to maintain my business, and I had, your team. You never know what holes are in the bucket until you put the bucket in the water for a long time and dunk it and see what's going on. So like, sure, my team did a great job when I was around, but when I was gone, they had to, right? They could ask me a question, or they could just sort of figure it out. And of course I was there for them, but like, it really stress tested our systems and our people and their confidence. And it was a great thing. We've really flourished. In fact, my team said it to me. They're like, don't take this the wrong way, but we're kind of happy you're gone, because I don't really care, if you have directions to get somewhere, whether it's 3 lefts and a right or 3 rights and a left, you're going to get there. I don't have to tell you every step, but when I'm gone, they're going to figure it out, and they do an amazing job, and they just need me to let them do it. Right. Obviously you can see a little bit of control freak issues, and those are all my issues, not theirs.
So Sarita, really fast, I'm dying to know. So, and for the listeners, so like about business wise, volume units, what will you guys do this year? And how many days are you off now?
Yeah. So 2017 was my best year before MIT. I did 78 million in production, 144 units, 90 buyers, 54 sellers. I've been about half of that now, like, 37 to 45 million. We're probably we're probably like 30 million year to date right now. I have a really innovative model, which I'd love to give you a high level overview of. I have 3 buyer's agents. I have a listing manager, I have a transaction coordinator, and myself. The 3 buyer's agents, though, they do everything up to finding the house. And then I am the lead negotiator. I negotiate every offer and do everything contract to close with a very strong TC. So my buyer's agents aren't showing agents. They do 5 steps. They do the first contact, they cultivate the relationship, they do the consult, they actually set the expectation during the consult on how we work. They get the buyer broker agreement signed. They show property. In fact, they're inventory specialists. They're not just showing agents that open a door.
Oh, I love that.
They are inventory specialists. They know inventory better than me. That's why you want them to show you the house, because they will read you like AI and machine learning. You might have your list of, I want 3 bedrooms and I want a 2-car garage. But then if you make a face at every dark kitchen we have, then you don't want a dark kitchen, or you don't, so they know how to read the buyer, and then say, we're not going to want to see that next house because I've been in it. We're going to want to see this house that it didn't work for the Millers because it was too small for them, but it's absolute perfect size for you. So then they do the offer handoff to me. I do the negotiation, and then contract to close. I have a very strong TC, so I'm not doing every detail, but I'm the point person, because once they hand off to me, they go off and find their next house for the next buyer. So it's an innovative model. I'll be honest, Dana and Linda, it's not the kind of model where I can have my name on a big billboard and sell 1,000 homes. I sell, like I said, 100 to 140 homes a year, but my profit margin 62%.
Wow.
And I'm very focused on that number. And our repeat and referral rates 80 to 85%, because guess what? They talk to Sarita. It's not like the Sarita team, and I don't know who she is because I've seen her name I've seen her photo on a flyer, but I've never met her or talked to her. They're from escrow, right? From contract written to close. I'm their point person. They actually haven't even talked to the inventory specialist since. So then 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 7 years from now. In fact, right now I'm getting referrals from clients that are actually in escrow, and they're sending them my way. So it's for me, as a team model, it's really nice to have that connection. And therefore, I don't think it's necessarily scalable. I don't have a dream to sell 200 or 300 homes. I just want to keep doing what I'm doing and be able to live a pretty great integrated life. So with regards to days off, with the last 2 years with MIT, Honestly, I spent over 200 days out of the office.
Wow.
And then in fact, we had a 50-day trip planned, my husband and I, because he gets sabbatical from work, and we had to put the kibosh on it due to COVID. It was supposed to be, I think, the day before Thanksgiving, the Friday before Thanksgiving to the Friday after New Year's 2020. But we are looking to reschedule that. What I've since done though is I've been really conscious of those. So MIT was essentially 26 trips to Boston in 20 months, plus 4 1-week long trips. And then after that, it was 15 to 25 hours a week for homework.
Where do you live?
I live in Portland, Oregon, so it was a good hike. And by the way, I couldn't complain. People were coming from Tokyo and Moscow and
Wow.
Kenya, Madrid. We had people from everywhere. So there was about 15 or 20 of us West Coasters, but there was people from everywhere. But what I was careful about, because it's very easy to kind of come back and go, I'm just going to, I took a break from work, I'm going to go back and just do work. I was very careful about that time, not to mention the travel time, but the homework time. And quite frankly, I've actually put it into self-care more and doing things like, I am in the best shape I've been in. I am training for the New York Marathon. I am exercising regularly, seeing a nutritionist, libidos, just working on all those circles instead of just the work circle. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we can always do more. Like we can always work more and make more. But what are the things that make us happy and bring us joy? And so I got kind of used to this sort of schedule, and I'm making sure I'm filling my cup with things that just, you know, make me happy and give me longevity and a lot of energy.
So Sarita, do you think that, have you kept a lot of the things we had to do in COVID because that gives you more flexibility to be other places? And are people accepting of that? Or
Absolutely. Some of my best lessons learned for COVID beyond, like I've always been a casual girl, so I'm pretty casual. So I did embrace the yoga pant and no zipper, no buttons rule. But one thing I love is like meal prep, right? Like I used to I used to leave my home in the morning with like practically a cooler with protein shakes and salads and stuff. Now I just love working from my home office. When it's lunchtime, I literally block out lunch and go home, go downstairs, I should say, cut up the vegetables and make my salad and just sit and take a break, right? So one thing I love is that I don't feel like I'm always on the go carrying my luggage with me. The other thing that's been great for me is I just realized, like, if you have, let's say I have a personal trainer to lift with and I have another personal trainer for Pilates, and guess what? They're not available at 8 p.m. at night. So why not, for me, I don't mind doing emails and follow up for a couple hours each evening, because I feel like it's a little bit of a volleyball game. I could spend a couple hours in the evening sending emails, catching up on stuff. And then 7 to 9 a.m., I know many people are lead generating, but you can lead generate and follow up anytime and all the time. I use my mornings to go work out with those trainers because they're available, and no one's really looking for me that early because I've just lobbed all, you know, I've answered all the questions from the night before. So it's just been nice for me to just connect with clients and integrate, you know, I kind of redefine my workday basically. And I take time out for myself during the day. I don't feel guilty about it at all. And then I make sure that like all the bases are covered in a way that, you know, works for me. We're recent empty nesters, so like it's great for us because we just, you know, we plan things together. And like I literally each night ask my husband what time his calls are, and then when I know when his calls are, if I can sort of make sure that I might do my workout or something when he has calls, and we'll just make a conscious effort to have lunch together, or at least have a plan for what's for dinner. And it's been a great way for me. So in terms of habits, Zoom is a big part of my life. It probably always will be. I'm doing much better with shorter, like I don't do 1 hour meetings anymore. It's like, if you eliminate a lot of the chit chat, you can, if you only have 30 minutes, you can cover what you need to do. So I do like quick 30-minute consults. We use Slack as a team, and it's become even more important. We used to do team meetings in person, but then Slack throughout the week. Now we do our team meetings via Zoom. And I think that will always continue because my team is spread out, and just why should they commute into an office when we can just kind of quickly get on the phone, go around the horn, talk about what's good, talk about what challenges we're having. And it's just shorter and more to the point. And either that gives them more time to show property or just more time to recharge for themselves. So lots of great habits that I don't see. I don't think we're going to be back in the office to the extent we were before, because it's just working great for our team. We just work well virtually, and they got used to me being anywhere, and it didn't matter.
Who goes to the closings and who goes on the listing appointments? With
I
your
go on the listing appointments.
Okay.
But I do have a really great listing manager that sort of does everything. Like I essentially, if you think of writing the offer and sort of closing the deal on the buy side, closing the listing is kind of what I do, but with regards to photos, data entry, is it a gas furnace, all of that. Like I have really great support. He goes to the photo shoot, he orders a sign, he essentially enters the listing, and I just prove it and push it live. So I go to listings. With regards to closings, we've sort of, due to COVID, we're actually a state in Oregon that's still not fully open. We're like 1% away from, I think, our 70% vaccinated goal that our governor has set. So we weren't going to all the closings anyways, but now we have a great reason not to. One thing we do, the buyer's agents, my inventory specialists, they do two things post escrow. They actually attend the inspection.
Okay.
And they deliver keys, and we don't go to the closing, but we deliver keys and give a gift at the front door when we, on key date. And they do that, and they actually love that. And the reason they do that is mainly because sometimes we'll have 5 closings on a Friday, and it's like they're really excited at that point because they haven't seen the buyer, and it's just a fun thing to do. And so that's kind of how we do it. And honestly, it's not even that we're, like trying not to go to closings. I just think it's hard enough to deal with 2 buyers most of the time, and the title company, and when docs come in, and now throw in the realtor's schedule. It's just really hard to find a time for everybody. So we just like let them run with it, and then we make sure we're there to deliver keys and say congrats.
Yeah.
So does most of your business, Sarita, how long have you been in the business, and is most of your business coming from your database?
So I'm 18 years in the business, and my database is my primary pillar. I also do geographic farm, and I do have a presence on Zillow in one zip code that's a really strong zip code of mine. But Zillow for me has also been, there's a small amount of paid leads, but it's also very organic, right? People are just, if they're looking in that zip code and they see my reviews and my sales there, I'm getting a lot of calls just from people just using sites like Zillow just to do homework on the agent. We have to be where our consumers are. So, but my primary lead source is my database. And then I do get quite a few agent referrals as well.
Yeah, awesome. So one of the ways you and I met is because, and this is one of the things I've recognized about you is, and I think in the real estate industry, we don't do this enough. It can kind of be an isolated business, right? And so I've always been big on reaching out and making, friends in the real estate world, and not worrying about, who's a competitor or who's this or that or anything. And I think what's one of the things I've learned from, like with you and I having the same nutritionist and having, SIBO and stomach issues and things that we had that brought us really closer together, is how important it is to find a group or have, people that you can reach out to that have the same struggles, whether it's in health or it's in your real estate business or whatever. And I think you've done a really good job of that, even outside of what you and I have created with the SIBO group that we have.
No, I agree. I feel like we need these tribes, if you will, or these groups, these small networks where you can be vulnerable and honest, and and you can also be unapologetic when you have success too, right? And we have multiple groups like that, right? Linda, you and I have this health group. I have this other group that are Keller Williams agents. There's 11 of us, and we call ourselves 5 Dolls. And we started this event, and it's kind of a movement called Amplify. I'm not here to push the movement, although we'd love to have you attend. What really, though, I want to share about what you're saying, Linda, is sometimes we get into these, these places in our life, whether it's business or personal, when you kind of look up and you realize there's not that many people that can relate to this. Like, I love a lot of my friends from college and high school, or some of my neighbors in my Indian community, but like some of the challenges I might be having about hiring or investing or whatever, they may or may not be on the same page as me. So therefore I don't talk about it. And, or if I complain about something, they're like, oh, poor baby, like your cleaning lady isn't coming. And it's just like, they don't get it. And I'm not, again, it's actually not about money or success. It's about being able to just be transparent about whatever challenges you have, and be able to like say, hey, Linda, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think about it? And what am I not asking? Because I don't know what I'm doing here. Right. And so not only being able to ask for help to people who've been there and done that and are really successful in many aspects of their life, but also to be able to say, guys, I just want to share. I just had an amazing day and I closed this deal, and I'm not bragging about it, but like I'm just excited, right? And I can't say it to everyone else because they don't get me, right? And so one thing I love about our group, when we do get together, when we first started getting together, I thought it'd be great. It's gonna be a girls' weekend. Girls' weekends are fun, right? There's a lot of fun going on at girls' weekends. But what I loved about it is we worked on our business. Like we actually workshopped on our one day fully on our business and one day fully on ourselves. And this group, for me, like if you're doing really great, let's say in business, they might say something like, when's the last time you went out on date night? And have you been going to the gym like you said you wanted to do? There's not a judgment on you should go to the gym. It's more like, you said this was your goal. I'm holding you accountable. Since you're doing so great in this other area, what are you doing here? And it's so like powerful when people you love and respect care about you so much that they're asking. And so that's what we started, because people would come to us and say, how do we join your group? And the answer is create your own. And we're happy to share what's worked for us, but really it's got to be organic. You kind of find your own people. And just like Susie, our nutritionist, she put us together because we had the same health problem, but there's also a magic that happens. And sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. We're very lucky. It just sort of happened. This chemistry where we rarely talk about food. Now we're talking about life. And just like this podcast, everything life and real estate, right? Life comes first, real estate's a part of it. And so, but that magic, I don't think she even thought like this group's going to be perfect together. It just sort of happened. We were all in the place and we were all ourselves. And it just, the magic sort of happened, and it could have not happened just as easy. I'm sure there are some groups that it doesn't happen, but we're very grateful. We were able to spend some time at Linda's place as a SIBO retreat. And it was a little bit like, wow, we haven't actually spent a lot of time. I hadn't even met Anna, for example, and we haven't spent a lot of time together, but that magic that we built online and through videos with each other just carried over to real life.
Yeah, it's like you almost didn't even realize you hadn't either.
No.
I'd never met Lindsay. And so but you kind of forgot about that because you feel like we're in our lives almost every day through Marco Polo. So we just kind of felt like it was an extended version of that.
And here's the thing, right? When someone asks you a question, like, and maybe this is me being in my 50s now too, like, I don't really care what people think. I think when I was in my 20s and 30s, yes, no offense to Dana, I think Dana, you're a lot younger than I am, but I think I used to be so worried about optics. Like, I'm going to answer what I think should be the answer. And now it's like, when we were together, when we were getting to know each other, it's like, we were just ourselves. Like, when you talk all the time, you can't fake it, right? I like to say I'm smart, but I'm not smart enough to have 3 versions of myself and try to keep track of it all. So what you got is what you got. And then that's what made it so easy in real life, because like we were just real with each other, good, bad, and ugly. We were real. And we weren't even politically correct all the time. We were just honest and transparent in ourselves. And then it became like, it just carried over into just like who we are. It was very authentic, which I think is a gift.
Yeah, so true.
Those are the best types of relationships anyway. I don't think any of the other ones ever even really matter long term. Okay, I have to ask you, just because you said one of the questions I wanted to ask you, because I know you had a tech background. What are your thoughts on the real estate industry and how things are changing with technology and all the things, all the moving parts?
I think people who are stressed out about it are always going to be stressed out about it. I always joke with these Facebook groups where like people are so fixated on stuff. It's like get off of Facebook and go talk to a client. I actually think everything's changing and then nothing's changing. I think at the end of the day, this is always going to be a people business. We, sure, we'll buy, napkins off of Amazon, but like at the end of the day, I am not threatened by it. In fact, I love it. I love that technology has changed our role, where before we were the information providers. Now we're the guidance counselors, because all the information's out there and we help our clients make sense of it. And so we get to coach now at a much higher level than just answer basic questions. And again, so I mean, the speed of information, the push button, get answer type of thing has sort of changed all our games, and we have to be responsive. I've always been responsive, so that hasn't changed anything for me. But I don't think, like, never in my lifetime, nor in future lifetimes, am I going to see our business being replaced by bots or robots, or, open the door and press this code, like whatever. I love that technology is making the whole process less painful, because it is a painful process no matter what. But we get to continue to just be there to help make sense of it all. And if you come from a place where, you come from contribution, you're there to help people. You also come from abundance. Like, you know what? We don't win them all. We're going to lose a client here and there. And when we do, it's just like learn from it and onward. The time that I'm now not spending with that client, I get to help somebody else. There's just, there's so many houses to sell. There's so many people to do it. And I know that I will fill my days with whatever I need to do to like, I will always be busy, because there's always going to be somebody who values my service. And if they don't, then they're just not the right fit for me. So I don't spend a lot of time fixating about it. I don't wring my hands going, what's going to happen? I just look at it as an opportunity to kind of get better. For example, we're really high buyers we're 65% buyers, 35% sellers. My team kind of makes sense because I have 3 dedicated people on the buy side. So we just have more lanes in our buyer highway than our seller highway. I'm solely the one who takes listings. If I had 3 listing people, then maybe we'd be 50-50. But the truth is, it's a tough market to be a buyer's agent. And we could sit there and complain all day long about how hard it is and how many offers we have to write for every buyer. But I look at it this way: the buyer's agents that are actually not only surviving but thriving today, they're going to kill it, because one, we know the market so well, we know inventory so well, we're so in tune with what's happening. Plus, I would never wish a buyer's market on a buyer's agent. A seller's market for a buyer's agent creates urgency. You know what, Mr. Buyer, you can't go on vacation for a month and come back and get a better price. You saw it Friday. We're going to have to decide by Monday on what you want to do. There's some urgency that comes with the seller's market that is a beautiful thing, to be honest, because it helps us qualify our buyers from those ready to buy buyers from those tire kickers. So call me naive or call me optimistic, but I just try to see the good in everything and see where's the opportunity.
You said one thing that I loved. You said it's all changing yet nothing's changing. And last week I hosted a top agent panel in Columbus, and there were 4 agents that were all 50 million plus producers. And the craziest thing, you guys, was every single one of them said that the only thing that they're doing differently is they're focusing more on back to the basics with their database and their VIPs, and they're going deeper with their A players. And they just said, we get, all the change and everything that's happening, yet we are just going back to the basics and we're going deep on our database. And I thought, that's so true. That's what I mean. That's it. It makes sense.
You have to go deep and you have to go often. I remember when pandemic hit, everybody called everybody and saying how you're doing, because guess what? The world stopped. We were sitting around watching Ozark and eating pizza, right? So, but then what we didn't realize is you had to ask that question again in June, and you had to ask again in August. We're back to school. Like, everybody says fine, thank you, but like, are they really fine? You just have to keep asking. I had to do it with my own team as well. Like, okay, how are you really doing? How can I help you? And if you just you don't even have to ask, hey, anyone who knows how to, needs to buy or sell, hey, how are you doing? Then they want to know how you're doing. And then inadvertently we talk about the market, right? And, you know, and you never want to be that person who's like, oh, I'm crazy busy. Great. All you just said is I'm too busy, you know, for you. What you want to say is it is an insane and crazy market. And there's so much opportunity out there. And you know, and next thing you know, the more and more people you talk to, you start hearing from them again, because it's just that reticular activator, right? Like they now have real estate on the brain because they've talked to you. But really it's just being human. How are you doing? No, how are you really doing? How can I help you? One of my favorite things in the world is connecting my database with my database, just for fun. I would like to just, well, I can't pop popcorn anymore, but I would like to just pop popcorn and watch the magic of like, wow, this person's new to town and they want to know about this school. That principal is actually my client. I wonder if they could have coffee. Or so-and-so is looking for a job and this person's a recruiter. And oh, by the way, this person's spouse works for that company. I wonder if I can connect them. And it's just fun. Like, am I getting a real estate deal out of it? No, but it's just fun to connect. And then guess what? Just like anything, people are appreciative and then they want to know how they can help you.
Yeah. Yep. That beholdenness and reciprocity, it does come back around, whether you see it instantly or not.
Yep.
I love it. I love that. Well, Sarita, first of all, thank you.
Great.
I knew
I talk a lot. I hope there's a
I
few
knew it was
minutes
going to
there.
be good. I really did. I knew it was going to be good. But you got to tell us about that hydrate bottle, because I couldn't see it on Marco the other day. So what is it and where do I get it?
Okay, sorry, it's not working great with my background. Let me just turn my background.
Tell it for us.
Really see it. So what it
Hydro
is,
flask?
yeah, it's I'll just turn it off here. Okay, now you can actually see it. So the bottle is called Hydrate, HIDRATE.com. And what it is it you can get a smaller one or a big one. This one's 21 ounces. You can get different colors, or I like stainless steel because if you put ice and water in it, it stays cold like all day. And then because I can't count to 5, I went to MIT, but I can't count to 5. If my goal is 100 ounces a day, half the time I'm like, did I have 2 today or did I have 3 today? And then you go to your app, like, okay, I'm behind today. I've only had 13 ounces. It's early here still. It's only 9:48. But it will tell you all day, like yesterday, I had 146 ounces of water. My goal is actually just 100, but like, I just drink water all day. And by the way, I wasn't a water girl. I don't like the taste of water and I'd rather have Diet Coke, to be honest. So it took me a lot to just get used to kind of getting hooked to water. And now I just kind of love it and I drink it all day long.
So wait, the bottle measures it on
Yeah,
your
so it actually has a little puck at the bottom that you kind of charge once a month. And then it's Bluetooth with it measures it by weight, I'm pretty sure. So with Bluetooth, like every once in a while, like it's lighting up right now. Every once in a while it'll light up. And when it lights up, it like kind of updates. Like I just took a sip and I'm 14 ounces. And so throughout the day, it's just kind of nice. And for me, it's just like, I want to hit my 100 and I don't want to have, it used to be like, oh, I've had 18 ounces and it's now 8 p.m. and now I'm going to have to chug a gallon and go to bed. So it's just become a nice little habit for me because I am a little bit of a tracker. Linda knows too. Oh, I don't want to put the wrong finger up. I have my aura and I love tracking my sleep and my heart rate and things like that. So I'm a big tracker. So
that's really nice because I try to drink 3 of these a day, the liters, and I sometimes forget if I've already had 1 or 2 or how many have I had.
Yeah. So
well, and Sarita and I have to actually put on our log exactly how many ounces and stuff that we've had.
Wow.
I just make up numbers until I get the bottle.
You now have admitted it on public Zoom.
Linda, you better hope Susie doesn't listen to our podcast.
Oh, that's right. She busts us all the time on.
She already knows the truth. We're terrible, but we're terrible together.
Yeah, I just make up a number because it's like, I have no idea how many ounces I had, but I'm getting that bottle, so I know for sure.
Yeah.
Because I like tracking also. Awesome. Well, Sarita, this has been amazing. Love it. Thank you so much for being our guest. And remember, if you have a challenge, an opportunity, a question that you'd like for us to answer on everything life and real estate, just reach out to us at info@everythinglifeandrealestate. And Sarita, why don't you give them how they can send you a referral if somebody wants to send you a referral in Portland?
Sure. I'm based in Portland, Oregon. I haven't been traveling as much. School's over. I am here ready for your referrals. My handle on almost everything is Ask Sarita. My website's AskSarita.com. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, on anything. The number that's all over everywhere is my cell phone number. You will get me directly, and would love to help you with any referrals or just any questions, even about this podcast. My email is sarita@asksarita.com. Happy to help.
I love that because I'm finishing up a listing course. And like you said, a lot of things have not changed. They've changed, but they've not changed. And that's what I discovered in doing interviews for this listing course. And then the other thing that was really shocking is number 3 source for most top agents was agent to agent referral.
Yeah.
So having a big group of agents is super important because it was probably 90% of those agents, their third highest source of business was agent to agent referral.
And it's so much easier, right? A lot of us, I love to coach and train and speak. And I used to have part of my days out. I'll be honest, I'm just getting full disclosure. It's not like I take the 100 days and I only am on vacation. I also count like family reunion, mega camp, but many girls weekends, or sometimes if we do an event, we tack on a day before or after. I just count every day out, including professional development, as a day out. I go to Inman conferences and other things that are outside of Keller Williams, but are for enrichment and for networking. But now it's become even easier because we can do a quick Zoom on a certain topic and be out there and be present and be visible. So I would encourage all agents, especially if you have like kind of a niche or two that's kind of your secret sauce, like share it. Like as Linda said, she's not worried about like someone stealing her system, right? My showing agent model, I'm happy to share all the details and adopt it, right? It's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to write every offer. I love that piece. Deal structure is my favorite thing in the world. So that's one of the reasons I didn't give that up yet, because I actually really enjoy it. So kind of finding your thing and then being able to talk about it then makes me, I feel like I get quite a few agent referrals because people know that I'm out there doing trainings and podcasts and so forth. So I don't do it going, I wonder how many referrals I'll get out of it. It's more just, I'm passionate about it. I don't have to think about it because it's the thing I enjoy sharing. And then as a result, the visibility and the referrals come in.
Yeah, absolutely. So well said. So remember, if you haven't hit subscribe below, please do. And the best compliment you can give Dana and I, if you're loving the topics we have at Everything Life and Real Estate, is to pass this podcast along to someone else that you feel like would benefit from this conversation. So Dana, I'll see you next week. And Sarita, again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarita. See ya.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.